Stand by. The program will begin soon. Two-year investigation by the House Weaponization Committee uncovers a two-tiered system of government. Apparently, they put out a 17,000-page report on this. Through its oversight and investigations, the Select Committee found numerous instances of federal government being weaponized against the American people. For example, the Select Subcommittee highlighted censorship by big tech that led Mark Zuckerberg to admitting Facebook was pressured by the Biden-Harris White House to censor Americans, empowered whistleblowers to come forward and have their voices heard despite retaliation by the Department of Justice and the FBI. They protected the First Amendment, leading to the dissolution of the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, GARM, and other organizations that work to censor American speech. They revealed the weaponization of federal law enforcement against the American people, leading to important policy changes for the Department of Justice and the IRS, and uncovered evidence that Biden's campaign coordinated with 51 former intelligence officials to interfere in the American electoral system weeks before the 2020 presidential election by signing the statement calling Hunter Biden's laptop disinformation. So, is there a labor shortage? Ultimately, the entire need for H-1B workers is predicated on a supposed domestic worker shortage. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the current native-born American labor force participation is around 63%. Meanwhile, the foreign-born labor force participation is a stunning 68%. Importantly, per the Wall Street Journal, census data show immigrants who arrived since the start of 2020 are more than twice as likely to lack a high school diploma as U.S. months. He beat not one but two Democratic opponents, swept all 7 swing states, and became the first Republican to win the popular vote in 20 years. He has realigned American politics, remaking the GOP and leaving the Democrats reckoning with what went awry. I'll tell you what went awry. They suck! Okay, moving on.
Did you know that since 1977, Congress has only passed the budget on time 4 times? The last time Congress passed a balanced budget was in 2001.
That was the
Did you know
Congress?
That over the last 6 years, Congress hasn't passed an appropriations bill on time once? In fact, we have had 17 continuing resolutions in the last 6 years.
6 years.
And since Biden has taken office, we have had over 11 omnibuses pushed through. Congress has only passed a balanced budget 4 times ever, meaning we didn't have a surplus or a deficit.
The mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream. There are platforms, there are people out there that are getting 14 million streams, and we're on cable news getting 1 or 2 million. And so there's
not on CNN.
the whole world out there. Kellyanne Conway, I hate to agree with her, but I do a lot of times. Donald Trump understood that.
Stand by. The program will begin soon. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday Q&A, and let's, the first question today is from our friend Avocado Diablo, who says, have you ever woke up half naked except for a pair of lace panties, a Foot Locker's employee's ref jersey, and a Pirate's eye patch stuck in the slide of a children's playground? AD? I'm becoming concerned. I'm becoming concerned. I would love to hear that story, though. Just out of curiosity, I don't know if I really want to hear that story, but no, I haven't. I feel very discouraged to see many influencers turning on some of our biggest fighters in Congress. Instead of going after the 38 who stand on principle and not raise the debt ceiling, but also didn't support the continuing resolution, why are they going after the people like Republican Congressman Greg Murphy, North Carolina 3, who was for the original continuing resolution? Or why not just go after the Democrats who are responsible for this entire mess? Why eat our own strong conservatives, especially over something like the debt ceiling, when no one really wants it raised in the long run? even if the 38 had voted yes on the American Relief Act, it still wouldn't have passed. So what is the end goal here? To get rid of strong conservatives because we don't 100% agree all the time? Stand by. The program will begin soon. House report recommends FBI investigation into Liz Cheney over alleged witness tampering while on the J6 committee. So there's this seems to be blowing up in Liz Cheney's face as opposed to getting shot with birdshot by her dad. Here's another one. Taxpayers fund a disinformation index, but the real fake news is that it's useful. The Department of State wasted $330,000 to fund censorship of non-liberal and conservative media. Historically, the largest purveyor of disinformation is the U.S. government, without question. And now, once again, the government has decided to position itself as the ultimate judge of what is true and what is not. Do you think there exists an animal whose shit is actually super delicious? Oh my God. It would have to be some sort of seafood. I don't know. Avocado Salad, what would you consider to be the most disconcerting thing about one could see in the toilet after you got done going to the bathroom? Only things that come from inside you count. Well, I think a 14-foot tapeworm would be kind of disconcerting. You'd be like, what the heck? That was inside of me? Okay. Lord Stanham asks, which member of Congress would you like to catch leprosy? You can name as many as you'd like. Well, let me just start with Jamie Raskin. And Adam Schiff. That's enough. This is lightning round. Avocado Diaby says, why is it that Nancy Mace is the only woman in Congress that does not sound like one of the teachers from Peanuts to me when she speaks? Maybe it's because she's from the South, although her accent is not that pronounced. Somnambule Nation, is this the penultimate? Is this the last question? No, it's not. Lord Stanhope, will you have a Merry Christmas? Melancholy. We already explained that earlier. Select a boy who on The Simpsons has a plan that's good on paper but horrible in execution. Oh, obviously Homer. How many of you remember the name Crystal Magnum? Crystal Magnum. Does that name ring a bell? Anybody? Crystal Magnum. Now, even if you don't know that name, you know. It sounds like a stripper name, doesn't it? Crystal Magnum? That sounds like a stripper name or a porn star name or something like that, right? Well, here's an update in the story of Crystal Magnum. Congress members haven't even received the text yet. The deadline is Friday. This is utter insanity. That is... I don't know if that could be any less accurate or more accurate. I don't know. Congress last passed a real budget in 1997. Since then, Congress has typically relied on continuing resolutions or omnibus spending bills to fund the government. There should be 12 different funding bills, I guess, normally. And they're doing an omnibus bill and then just put it all on paper the last minute and then just pass it because they want to go home for Christmas. Well, F that shit. So people are saying shut it down. They've typically relied on continuing resolutions or omnibus spending bills to fund the government rather than completing the full budget process as intended by the 1974 Congressional Budget
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know?
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Should old acquaintance be forgotten and to come to mind? Hey, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. On this December 31st, 2024, the hell is almost over. We're going to start a new hell tomorrow. Yes, it is New Year's Eve. We're going to have a couple lists today. And actually, you guys can contribute to the list by today's Q&A. I'm asking you, what is your best of 2024? If you got anything you can think of that's good, drop it over on that little link up at the top of the chat, and we'll go through some of those as we go through the show. Thank you, everyone who is here, and invite some more people here, because, we can always use more. The more, the merrier. 18 so far, 27 likes. Hit the like button, do all that stuff. I even see a new name that may be just someone who changed their name, but we'll figure it out. Could be just the same guy that was, I think it is, but I will find out, because I'm going to say hi to everybody, and we're going to get this thing started right now since I'm running late, as usual. So first in chat today, of course, is Mr. Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. Yes. In fact, I'm going to give you 2, and I'm going to give you 3 bells. How about that? So thank you for being here, of course. Now I can't see who is second. Looks like it was Somnambul Nation. Wait, no, someone's in there between. Because, see, unfortunately, this stuff's covering up what I'm supposed to be talking about here. Who is that? Oh, it is. No, it's Boneheaded Dumbass was second. You were here second. I got you. Also, good morning, Somnambul Nation. Tyler F. King in Yellow. Now, is that a new name, new person, or just someone who changed their name? It could be Kingslayer Damocles, but I don't think so. It might just be King in Yellow. We'll figure it out. That Avi looks familiar. So I'm just not sure. But if you're new, welcome. Hit the subscribe button and hang out with us for a while. And even if you don't like what I say, you can argue with me, because I'm not proud. If you're smarter than me, I'll pretend that you're not and still let you talk all you want. So there you go. Also, good morning to Resolute Germs back. Nice to have you here. Attack Alpacas in the house. Rick Ashbringer, of course. Good morning, Vader35. Nice to have you here live. Darren Roots in the house. Lord Stanhope. Reaccion Puerto Rico. New lovely island is here. Good morning also. And Green Badger Outdoors. Now that's everyone so far. I'm sure there's more people. There's 25 here now. So there's more people than that. So I know people are just coming. Oh, there we go. Good morning, GDSOB. What's up? Good morning, Meat McFluffin and chat. The fuck is Meat McFluffin? I don't know what the hell that means. I have no idea. King in Yellow is the chat member that shall not be named. Oh, I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means, but you know what that means. So anyway, thank you again to the people who are tweeting out the show. And if you haven't done so, at the top of the chat, there's a link there that says, have you shared this stream? Click that. Click the link and drop a let's go on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. Unless you're not on the app formerly known as Twitter. I understand if you're not, but just give me a let's go, please. It's very important to the show. And in fact, some of you have already shared the show. Of course, Somnambul Nation on your own has tweeted out the show, because that's what you do every day, and I appreciate it. And there's the repost I just did. Also, good morning. Thank you for dropping a let's go. Let the fun begin. What the hell is that? That's scary looking. Oh, you can't see that shit, can you? Here, let's fix that. There we go. There's the right page. There we go. What the hell is that? It's like a pumpkin head thing. That's some disturbing shit. I'm just saying. Also, thank you. Who's this? A Resolute Germ? Yeah. Got a little Mario Brothers action, or Mr. Mario himself. Also, thank you for the people who have retweeted the show. Reaccion Puerto Rico, Somnambul Nation, Tyler F, Resolute Germ, appreciate that. And Reaccion Puerto Rico with a nice toast to the new year. That's beautiful. That's kind of where I'm at too. Throwing up some fireworks. And then thank you. Who is this? The Spectacular Wanderer. That's a really, how'd you do that font? Are you here anywhere? I'm just curious. That's a weird font. Dropped a let's go, or I liked a let's go. Good morning, GB. Also, number one is in the house too, and GD. I said GDO, so B. So if you're here, just drop something in the chat and drop a let's go in the X app, formerly known as Twitter. I'm gonna get rid of that because I'm gonna pin the donation link. We can do some end of the year donations. Change my tax bracket today, please. That's stupid. All right, so now if you got a best of the year for 2024, you can drop it over in the chat. So there you go. I remember. Oh, that's the Spud. That's Spud the Scarecrow. How's it a Spud? That's not a Spud. That's a well, I guess it kind of looks like it looks like an onion, but it also looks like a pumpkin with a carrot nose or something. I don't know what the hell that is. Anyone know what that is? Anyway, I can't be the only one who remembers that PDawg. Oh, from Bob the Builder? Oh, see, okay, so Bob the Builder, I don't know if my kids ever watched Bob the Builder. And I didn't watch Bob the Builder. I don't know. So anyway, let's get into some news because we got a lot to do today. Of course, the top trending things today all have to do with the new year. So now Happy New Year's trending top because it's already the new year. If you're in Australia, like all my Aussie friends are probably, well, they're probably just getting home from the bar or really drunk. So you're not here. I don't see any of my Aussie friends here. Or did any of the Aussie people show up yet? I don't know if they're going to show up because it's already New Year's. They're partying like rock stars. And so I understand if you're not here, but since New Year's trending, now I got to be careful scrolling. Let me scroll a little bit to make sure there's no body parts. You know what I'm saying? On here. Nope. Oh no. Wow. Now this, I wasn't expecting this. This is disturbing. Okay, well, I guess this person doesn't like the people who voted for Donald Trump. Well, fuck you right back. Who gives a shit? The thing is though, I don't consider myself, I wouldn't consider myself mega. Like if I died tomorrow, no one would like have pictures of me in red hats and stuff. I voted for Trump because I thought he'd make the better president. But I appreciate the policies and the ideas, that are there. I'm not a fan of the style, but style, the substance trumps the style. So, so if someone does that fuck MAGA thing, I get a little defensive myself too, though, because I'm kind of, I'm certainly MAGA adjacent. If I'm not MAGA, proper. So anyway, here's one. Good morning, happy New Year's Eve. Stay safe and have a blessed day. And that is probably the most important thing as far as I'm concerned. I do not participate generally in New Year's Eve festivities, unless maybe Lady Boomer, I might go to a bar this evening, but we're old and we kind of tend to want to be home before midnight and don't want to look. I don't like amateur nights and New Year's Eve and St. Patrick's Day and I don't know, 4th of July. Those are all amateur nights. I don't mind being out during the day on 4th of July, but at night, that's when the freaks come out, dummies. Now, the nice thing about the difference between New Year's Eve and those drinking holidays now is like things like Uber and Lyft are far more prominent, and a lot of people are so much better about not driving. But I know when I was in my 20s and 30s, you had a few, you went home, you drove home, like, I can make it, whatever. And so, those amateur nights became a little dangerous, and they're still a little dangerous. So all I say to you, if you're going to go out and celebrate tonight, or if you've already been there, be careful. If it's okay to drink too much once in a while, and if you drink too much, just be careful. Be careful where you go. Be careful with your surroundings. Be careful. Don't drive. Take an Uber, whatever, and be successful. Have a successful New Year's Eve and into the New Year's Day, and I'll see you tomorrow. That's what I want to hear. So just be careful and all that stuff. All right. So anyway, New Year's Eve, obviously trending. Also, here's another one. Happy New Year's Eve, which is the message here to all you guys out there. Enjoy, but be safe. Let's hope 2025 is finally a great year to remember, not one we want to forget. Now, I don't necessarily want to forget 2024. 2024 isn't that bad. I mean, is it any worse than any other year? Look, I know that you have no idea what I just said there. It wasn't any worse than any other year. But it wasn't necessarily any better than the other. It's just another year. And you get through it and you live your life, and there's certainly going to be great things, going to be bad things, there's going to be mediocre things, going to be normal things. Just there's going to be mundane things. But every year is just another year that you can be thankful that you made it through another year. So be thankful, be happy, find ways to make your days better, and think of the positive things and learn from the negative things. That's all I can tell you. I'm not going to give you any resolutions or anything. But anyway, here's another one. Wait a minute, what? Here's a good one. Remember, having sex on a regular basis helps keep your memory alive. I wish you all a great 2016. Okay, there you go. And I almost scrolled into some, they are covered at least, but there were some body parts that people are showing here. I'm trying to figure out. They're all covered up, but I'm still not going to show them because I don't know if anyone's going to be excited about these body parts. So I'm going to leave them on the look. If you want to really look for body parts, scroll through any of these Twitter feeds. The next one, is another Happy New Year's Eve one. Let's see. Now, what is this? This New Year's Eve, as children are dying of cold, hunger, and bombs, do not let them get away with the big lie that it all started on 7th of November. Well, no. See, what's amazing, they're going to list all these. These are all the ones. Let's see. So they're claiming all these massacres, right? Of course, did they list all the missile attacks? They're talking about Israel here. I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Anyway, and then also Happy New Year's training. It is New Year in Australia. Here's the fireworks in Sydney already happened. Here's some example of that. Look at that. Yeah. Sydney always has the just amazing fireworks show over I think that's the bay there, or river. I don't know what that is, over the bridge. It's just beautiful around the Opera House and stuff. So there you go. I'm looking forward to seeing. Here, let's pause that. I'm looking forward to seeing fireworks shows just from a distance, as in on my big screen TV tonight. So anyway, Happy New Year's Eve, Happy 2025. There's the others, more Sydney. This was actually kind of funny. I don't know. This guy posted this. Good morning and Happy New Year 2025. And again, there's the body parts, but at least they're covered. I'm going to I'm going to take the music off. It's the 1812 Overture, and sometimes if you play the 1812 Overture and it's by a specific symphony, you get one of those little copyright dealies. But I think it's funny it almost looks like it's Donald Trump conducting, but I think that's just a AI thing. But very beautiful set of fireworks there. So there you go. All right, let's get into some real news though, because everyone. And also Feliz Año Nuevo for my Spanish-speaking friends. What is this? Okay, that's funny. And then there's another. What? Why is there a picture of Elizabeth? What? Okay, I don't. Wait, I'm trying to understand this, and I'll put this on the screen because it's tasteful, and it maybe Avocado Stab will appreciate this anyway. Why do we have a picture of Elizabeth Hurley at 59 y sigan participando gente? Feliz Año Nuevo. I don't get it. Why? What? Is that supposed to make my New Year happy? I mean, she's looks pretty good for 59 years old. She's older than 59, isn't she? I thought she was older than me. Good Lord, she's younger than me. That's concerning. Well, I guess I'm just not, whatever. So anyway, there you go. I'm sure somebody appreciates me putting that on the screen. Let's get into some actual news, though. Jimmy Carter's still trending. And I wanted to... Oh, shoot. Let's see here. I want to find the... there was one, I played some videos of different people talking about Jimmy Carter yesterday, and I was trying to be charitable to Jimmy Carter, but not everybody was. And so I want to go play Scott Jennings talking about Jimmy Carter on This is CNN. Scott Jennings kind of breaks down why Jimmy Carter was a terrible president. And while I say that he was a good man as far as his work with Habitat for Humanity, he also was a little bit sketchy when it came to being an ex-president. And so Scott Jennings breaks this down just about better than anyone. So I'm going to put this we're going to play this one because I remember Jimmy Carter, even though I was only, junior high, barely in high school. I might think he was still president my sophomore year in high school. But anyway, here we go.
He was a terrible president.
He was a terrible president.
That's why he lost in a landslide after his one term. And if it's possible, I think he was even a worse ex-president because of his meddling in U.S. foreign policy, because of his saddling up to dictators around the world, because of his vehement views, anti-Israel views, and more than dabbling in anti-Semitism over the years.
Okay.
He often vexed Democrats. Obama didn't even have him speak at his 2008 convention.
He pissed off Obama. I forgot about that. In 2008, he did not have Obama, or no, maybe 2012. Obama did not have him at the Democratic National Convention. He was a little pissed off at him. Hello, Tyre Alexander's in the house. Good morning, Tyre Alexander. The Scourge. And also Midnight and Exile. I can start the show now. Okay, let's finish with Scott Jennings here.
He put Bill Clinton in a terrible foreign policy box on a North Korea nuclear issue. I think it's
so funny because the other CNN panelists are so uncomfortable hearing these truths that they don't want to hear.
Was a guy who had a huge ego and believed that he was uniquely positioned to do all these things, even after the American people had roundly and soundly rejected his leadership. So I respect people who run for president and get elected president.
This poor guy
he wants
to jump in so badly.
Proved why he was never suited for the office in the first place.
I don't often say this, but Scott, I agree with you to a certain extent.
Oh, I wasn't expecting
President Carter was meddlesome with his successors. He forgot sometimes that he still wasn't president.
Hey, he was not president, though. He was bounced hard out of the presidency. Reagan had like 459 electoral votes, like almost all of them. So it wasn't just he wasn't president. Nobody wanted him to be president. That's how bad he was. Good morning, Cindy Bishop. What's up? And also, some amazing disgrace. I'm in a different key, singing higher than I should ever sing. Good morning, y'all.
For all the meddlesome behavior as a post-president, which is well documented, I don't think that it outweighs the contribution that he made as a global citizen.
Oh, fuck off. What contribution did he make as a global citizen? Other than his work for his humanitarian work as a Habitat for Humanity. What is he going to say here?
After he left.
Can I just offer one retort, which is this. In the run-up to the Persian Gulf War,
this is bad. And well, I'll let him finish. This is terrible.
Yeah, I know about this.
To all of our allies and to Arab states.
Let me replay that because I kind of stepped on it. I stepped on the line here. Let's do it again.
Citizen after he left.
Can I just offer one retort, which is this. In the run-up to the Persian Gulf War, he wrote letters.
Yeah, I know about this.
To all of our allies and to Arab states, asking them to abandon their cooperation and coalition with the United States of America.
Is that Hatch Act he broke? I can't remember what the name of the act is when you're not supposed to be meddling in the foreign policy. If you're not the president, you're interfering in foreign policy. He violated whatever that act is called. I think it's the Hatch Act. Or is Hatch Act the one about campaigning? I don't know. Whichever one it is. He violated it so badly. And he's probably lucky that he didn't get tried for treason.
Treasonous, it's borderline treasonous. And so I hear what you're saying about the humanitarianism, but when you're an ex-president and you have served in that office, I think you have a duty
you're not elected
to the United States and only to the United States. And when he did that and other instances, to me, it showed that he cared more about his own legacy than he did about the country, and I think
the Logan Act. I think you're right, Willie. Hello, Willie. By the way, Hatch Act is campaigning. Logan Act is when you do not contradict the foreign policy of the current administration. Interfere with the foreign policy of the current administration. So anyway, there's another take that we didn't get to yesterday on Jimmy Carter. And if you want to hear more about it, and by the way, speaking of which, Joe Biden kind of took a shot at Trump when eulogizing Carter. I still don't see the whole thing. Here's Joe Biden talking about Jimmy Carter during the Q&A.
From President Carter. Decency. Everybody deserves a shot.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what the question is. The question is,
President Trump to take from President Carter.
Something again. You talk about anything you can take from President Trump.
Decency.
What the hell happened here?
Everybody deserves a shot.
Oh, I
Everybody.
See it opened a second window. What the hell happened there?
Can you imagine Jimmy Carter walking by someone who needs something and just keep walking? Can you imagine Jimmy Carter referring to someone by the way they look or the way they talk? I can't.
Okay. So anyway, he was taking shots at Trump and eulogizing Carter. Also trending is Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan's trending because Jimmy Carter passed away. Good morning, Mr. Scott. What's up? And I think it's just because some saying that for those who lived through Jimmy Carter's reign of malaise as he tried to guide the U.S. into failure, we know Reagan was a better president in every way. His 1980 win with 489 electoral votes to Carter's 49 was proof of how much the country disliked Carter and Democrats and why Jimmy Carter should have never been meddling in our foreign policy. You had 12 years of Republican rule and between Reagan and Bush the first. And honestly, if the media had not hid the fact that the recession ended the fourth quarter of Bush's last year, we might not have had 8 years of George W. Bush too, which not necessarily saying that would have been a great thing, but would have been better than Clinton. Who knows? At least there wouldn't have been blowjob scandals in the White House. So anyway, Reagan's trending because of that. Other really news though, this is fascinating. Apparently, somebody in China hacked the United States Treasury. The U.S. Treasury says they've been hacked by China. Am I the only one who's calling bullshit here? It's just really convenient timing for this. I could be calling shenanigans. Here's the report from Fox News.
Breaking right now, the U.S. Treasury reportedly saying it was hacked by a Chinese state-sponsored actor. It's being called a, quote, major incident. The AFP reporting that the cyber...
Are they... Okay. Are we just trying to start a war with somebody? What is going on here? You think this is new?
Attack happened earlier this month. Treasury workstations and
it happened earlier this month, and now we're just now hearing about it? What?
Classified documents were reportedly accessed remotely.
Okay, so here, let's look at there's a story in PJ Media about this. China hacks U.S. Treasury. Weren't we promised that with the advent of the Biden administration, the adults would be back in charge? Well, yeah, about that. Time is getting short for them to show up. On Monday, a report was released that a Chinese hacker gained access to the U.S. Treasury Department. According to the report, this was a state-sponsored attack, and the hacker was affiliated with the Chinese government. Although the announcement was made on Monday, Fox News officials learned about the breach. Fox News said officials learned about the breach on December 8th, a spokesperson for the department said. Once Treasury was alerted by the service provider, we immediately contacted Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency and have worked with law enforcement partners across the government to ascertain the impact of this incident. The compromised Beyond Trust service has been taken offline, and there is no evidence indicating that the threat actor has continued access to Treasury systems or information. So, Post Millennial reports that in a letter to lawmakers, the department explained that the hacker infiltrated Treasury system through access to a key used by the vendor to secure a cloud-based service used to remotely provide technical support for Treasury Department offices and users. Okay, that's one hell of a sentence. Good morning, Andrew Thorsten. By the way,
China is asshole.
With access to the stolen key, the threat actor was able to override the service securities remotely, access certain Treasury DO users' workstations, and access certain unclassified documents maintained by those users. In that same letter, the department said that it takes threats against its systems and data very seriously. Oh, good. I don't think they don't brush them off and pretend nothing happened. I'm glad they take them seriously. Duh. Adding that it has bolstered its cyber defense systems over the last 4 years. Really? Define. Wait a minute. What? They have? How, what? And what do they mean by seriously? Very seriously. They take it very seriously. Anyway, the breach is being referred to as a major incident. I'd say that's one way to describe it. I'd call it a major fuck up if I'd call it. But anyway, there's more in the story, but you get the idea. What? Oh gosh, we're going into a new year. Anyway, that's important news. Also trending, Ford Motor Company's trending. Well, let me ask you. Let me tell you why Ford Motor Company's trending. There is a slight question into who is running the X account, formerly known as Twitter, of the Ford Motor Company because of these tweets. Now, if you can't see this, let's just blow this up a little bit. All eyes on Gaza. Ford Motor Company. Israel is a terrorist state from the Ford Motor Company. Free Palestine. Why is someone at the Ford Motor Company who posts on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, putting their 2 cents in on this? Now, regardless of what your opinion of the situation in the Middle East is, I'm pretty sure that the Ford Motor Company didn't no one in the boardroom or the CEO or anyone said to their person who posts on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, I don't think they told them to post this. I think someone made some choices on their own, and so now they have some splaining to do. So here's the story. Hacked, Ford silent after posting and deleting pro-Hamas slogans on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. Hacked or someone got fired? That's what social media users are wondering after pro-Hamas slogans flooded Ford Motor Company's official X page on Monday. All eyes on Gaza, one post read. After another 2 minutes, the page followed up with Free Palestine typed next to a Palestinian flag emoji. The posts were immediately deleted, but reappeared after some time before getting deleted again. Ford has yet to explain why their page randomly blew up. See what I did there? With terrorist propaganda. You'd think if they were truly car hacked, they'd immediately clear the air. Otherwise, drivers have reason to believe an intern or one of those 20-something-year-old social media managers went on a self-righteous power trip. That's what I would guess, because I'm pretty sure they didn't really want these posts on their Twitter account. So that's kind of wild. Wait a minute. Left you a post about Carter in your DM. Oh yeah, you did. I meant to. Oh, here, let me open that. Let me get that out of here. Hang on a second. Where is it? Thank you, Reaction Puerto Rico. Oh, I forgot about this one. Let me just. Oh, is this the one I read this yesterday on the show, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. This is a new one. Okay, let me check this out real quick. Oh, this is a follow-up to this. Okay, here it is. This is from someone called Cynical Publius. He said, I promised myself that I would not comment further on Jimmy Carter's death, but it bothers me to see so many otherwise sensible conservatives spouting the bad president, good man line that the Democrat media complex has been spinning for 40 years. I am guilty of that myself, because I appreciated his work on Habitat for Humanity, but I forgot all the other really shady shit that Jimmy Carter did since he has been president. So he says, thus I feel to drop some truth bombs, propriety at the time of death notwithstanding. Yes, he hammered a few nails in some houses for poor people, but that alone does not make one a good man. And the rest of the track record is so awful. After Carter lost in spectacular fashion in 1980, he did not do what every other president before him did and retire in a quiet private life. He could have farmed peanuts and planes with Rosalind. Instead, he bitterly engaged in active and public efforts to undermine the policies of elected Republicans who came after him. He invented the jealous, manipulative ex-president model that Obama put on steroids in 2016. Jimmy Carter flew around the world for decades unasked by America on self-appointed missions of national importance, almost always involved being gleefully interacting with raging anti-Semitic terrorists and or communist leaders, always working against the official policies of the actually elected presidents. Carter's hatred of Israel bordered on pathological and reeked of a sort of cloaked anti-Semitism that has become quite fashionable today. Somehow, Jimmy Carter convinced himself that he was such an important and historic figure that he stood outside and above the U.S. systems of election and governance, even though no one other than the Yasser Arafats and Hugo Chavez's of the world asked him to do so. Jimmy Carter was a bitter, angry narcissist who cloaked his lifelong seething rage at the indignity of being body slammed by Ronald Reagan, someone he considered lesser than himself in every regard, with that genteel Southern gentleman accent, vague scripture references, and occasionally hammering a nail. He purposely and vengefully wreaked havoc on America's official foreign policy for decades, and he invented the concept of a meddling ex-president poisoning America's political discourse. In that regard, Obama has been Carter version 2.0. We have Carter to thank for that. Literally every aspect of the man's self-serving public life was harmful to America. He knew that, and he did it all anyway, because narcissists always operate like that. They cannot help it, and they cannot never admit fault. Carter's good man image was carefully constructed and nurtured illusion, one that he gladly worked with the corrupt media to maintain. So please consider these factors before pronouncing bad president, good man. Sometimes truth needs to be said, even when some find that truth untimely. So there you go. Oh, and then let's not also forget Carter willingly ran for state office as a Democrat in Georgia in 1961. In 1961, Georgia was one of the most evil, segregationist, racist states in the Union, and possibly number one in those categories. All of that race hatred was created and run solely by Democrats, and Jimmy eagerly allied himself with that party of bigotry, racism, and lynchings. Wikipedia put it best: Carter favored racial tolerance and integration, but often kept those feelings to himself to avoid making enemies. That's like saying someone joined the Church of Satan even though they hate Satan, but kept that hatred to himself to avoid making waves. So there you go. I'll leave that one. That'll be in the links today. So there you go. Thank you, Reaction on Puerto Rico. I forgot I had that in my queue, so appreciate it. All right, just checking notifications one more time here. By the way, if you'd like to sponsor the show today, please do. Why isn't the damn bot thing working? Well, that pisses me off. Hang on a second. If you want to sponsor the show, PDawgKnight.live is the best place to do it. Although super chats are greatly appreciated. Gotta pay the rent, the mortgage, whatever. Gotta pay the light bill and the computer bill. So there you go. If you are so inclined, that would be awesome. Why isn't CloudBot working? It's on. Now it's off. Now it's on. Let's see if it works. There we go. We'll figure it out. But I'll put a link at the top of the chat because there we go. The super. All right, we'll pin that at the top. And if you'd like to be the superstar sponsor today, just be the highest donor of the day. So there you go. We'll pin that at the top. And voila. All right, let's move on. Other news. Ford, we did that. We did. Iowa's trending. Now, we're going to fight for Iowa. The University of Iowa is apparently ending their gender studies program. Here's a gender studies professor at the University of Iowa who's a little bit emotional after Iowa declares they're closing the department. And it's, I want to tell these people, if you want to study this kind of stuff, that's fine and dandy. But to get a degree in it, get fucked. I'm sorry. You're wasting your money and those student loans that you got to pay back now that Biden's leaving office, which I bet you. Okay. Oh my God. I have such a better thing to add to the Q&A. I'll do that in a second because this is going to be better. This is going to be better. And it could be right answers or wrong answers. I'll come back to this after this story. Here's apparently this lady's very upset. She looks like she's part of a gender studies department, doesn't she? Look at this woman. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like, but the crazy lady look kind of.
It's disappointing. It's a little, it's sad.
She teaches gender studies and social justice courses and says she's...
What do you apply that degree to, though? The only thing you can do with that degree is go be a gender studies teacher. Or start fucking fights in, internet chat rooms.
Seen a spike in student interest.
We've seen our majors grow, and in fact, social justice was one of the fastest growing majors of the units that are being
a useless major
in the new school of social and cultural.
Oh wait, actually though, maybe not, because those ladies who started Black Lives Matter turned out pretty good. They made a shit ton of money, man. They got some nice houses, they got bank accounts, they got cars. Woo! They made anyway.
Analysis. So it is again disappointing. Because it's clear that the students want these courses.
Why?
Rio also says students who've gone through the programs are contributing to Iowa's workforce.
It's disappointing. It's a little.
How? By pissing everyone else off in the office with your bullshit? University of Iowa announces plans to close gender, women's, and sexuality studies department. Good. Because it's just dumb. Why? Why even have it? So anyway, that's why I was trending. That's enough. Enough about that. Let's see. Johnson is trending, and I don't mean. Oh, by the way, let me change the Q&A. Let me go through the Q&A because I'm going to change it right now. So here we go. Up until now, excuse me. Up until now, the question for the Q&A was. Name your best of 2024 here. So I have two answers and then I'm going to change it. So don't add any more to this because I'm not going to read any more. Avocados Diaby says, the best part of 2024? The free Foot Locker's employee ref jersey. Oh my God. If you don't know what that means, go back and watch the countdown to the show at the beginning. If you might have missed that one, so you just have to go back and watch, because now my 10-minute countdown, I put highlights from prior shows in it, so it's not so boring and just me watching my vacation videos. So there's little clips and all kinds of stuff going on in the countdown, and if you watch the countdown from the last couple of days, because I'm going to be changing that one out pretty soon, you'll understand the Foot Locker employees ref jersey. And Somnambule Nation says the best thing in 2024 is that the cackling bitch lost miserably. Oh, and the puppet in chief is the fuck out of here too. All right, that's thank you contributors to that question. We're going to close that Q&A, and we're going to start a new one. Okay, because maybe this gender studies ending thing kind of reminded me of something that is going on with the president of the United States. So we're going to do a new one. So we have basically 20 days of Joseph Biden being the president of the United States left. 20 days and a few hours. Actually 21 technically, right? What do you think Joe Biden will surprise us with before he leaves office? That is the new Q&A. What do you think Joe Biden will surprise us with before he leaves office? And I mean, will there be more pardons? Will he try to pass some other bullshit bill? You know what I mean? That's what I mean. What are some things you think Joe Biden will try to do before he leaves office? And they don't necessarily have to be serious answers, but there's your new Q&A. There's the new Q&A. All right. So if you have any ideas, you can drop them in that particular section. All right. Next, we have Mike Johnson, who is trending. Apparently, Donald Trump has decided that he's fine with Mike Johnson being Speaker of the House and has basically endorsed him. Thomas Massie has spoken up. Let us pause to remember this moment in Congress when Mike Johnson gave the Democrats the billions of dollars they wanted for Ukraine. The House Sergeant at Arms threatened to fine me for sharing this video. That same man still works for Mike Johnson. Yeah. This is the Democrats. Nothing sickens me more. Unless that foreign dignitary is in the chamber of Congress and they're doing it as a welcome, to see members of Congress waving flags of another country in our house, it drives me insane. I don't like see it unless, I don't want to see flags of Israel. I don't want to see flags of Ukraine. I don't want to see flags of anyone unless there's someone from that country addressing the House of Representatives, and as a solidarity kind of gesture. But this bullshit, because we're giving Ukraine billions and billions and billions. It's almost, what are we almost at $200 billion now? What are you talking about? Good morning, Trippy Liberty. What's up, my brother? Nice to see you. So now it's funny though, because Donald Trump said that he endorses Mike Johnson. This is, someone put this when they're Cat Turd and Company deleting all of their anti-Mike Johnson tweets. I don't know. Again, MAGA influencers now deleting their anti-Johnson tweets. I don't care. I don't think Mike Johnson's a bad guy. But Mike Johnson did respond to the president. Says, "Thank you, Mr. President. I am honored and humbled by your support. As always, together we will quickly deliver your America First agenda and usher in a new golden age of America. The American people demand and deserve that we waste no time. Let's go to work." So this is Donald Trump wrote this. "We are a party of common sense. The primary reason that we won in a landslide the magnificent and historic presidential election of 2024, all 7 swing states, 312 electoral votes, and the popular vote by millions of voters, despite large-scale voter fraud taking place in numerous states." Oh, he claims. Didn't know about that. Hello, T-Ball. What's up? Let's see. Despite the large-scale voter fraud taking place in numerous states, I don't know where he's got that from, but maybe including California, where votes are ridiculously still being counted and under review. Yeah, I don't understand how California can't count their votes. Hello, Banks. What's up? And good morning, T-Ball, which is funny because Donald Trump could be president with the American flag at half staff. Oh, to honor Jimmy Carter? Yeah, you know what? Whatever. That's kind of what we do to honor dead presidents. I'm not sure how long they normally keep it at half staff for a passing president, because we haven't had one for a while. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. All one with these common professionalism. Republicans are being praised for having run a legendary campaign. Democrats are being excoriated for their effort, having wasted $2.5 billion, much of it unaccounted for, with some being used illegally to illegally buy endorsements. $11 million for Beyonce, who never sang a song. $2 million for Oprah for doing next to nothing, and even $500,000 for Reverend Al, a professional con man and instigator who agreed to interview their star-spangled candidate, Kamala and Joe. We ran a flawless campaign, having spent far less with lots of money left over. They ran a very expensive sinking ship, embracing Department of Justice and FBI weaponization against their political opponent, me. But it didn't work. It was a disaster. Let's not blow this great opportunity which we have been given. The American people need immediate relief from all the destructive policies of the last administration. Speaker Mike Johnson is a good, hardworking, religious man. He will do the right thing, and we will continue to win. Mike has my complete and total endorsement. MAGA, he says. So there you go. That's what that's all about. So that's why Mike Johnson's thanking him. That's why a lot of the people who hated Mike Johnson are probably deleting some bad tweets, but whatever. Or they're not. Look, I still think Mike Johnson has some issues, but I'm not. Look, I you know me, I have no qualms saying what I disagree with the president or some of his advisors, and if I agree with them, I agree with them wholeheartedly. Nobody's perfect, and I got a video about that because there's an interesting video that I got in the bookmarks. We'll get to that. T-Ball, but the thing is, he's going to be in the rotunda for 8 days. Is he? I probably. I don't know how that works. When that happens, I don't know. All right, thank you, Gunfox, dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. That makes you the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir, for dropping that Hamilton in the tip jar. Breaking news: China hacks again. Uh-oh. Well, let's see what the hell this is about. Because if you drop a Hamilton in the tip jar and an article, that is how you hijack the show. And which oh, you weren't here for this. We went through this. Well, let's look at the BBC article. Let's see how the BBC, not the good kind. Stop it. Wrong BBC. Oh yeah. Let's see how the BBC covers this though. Let's see. Let's find out. U.S. Treasury says it was hacked by China in major incident. We do know this. Chinese state-sponsored hacker broke into the U.S. Treasury. Wait, is this yeah, this is BBC News. So they didn't use a news service. So this is by the BBC. Chinese state-sponsored hackers broke into the U.S. Treasury Department systems earlier this month and were able to access employee workstations and some unclassified documents. American officials have said the Treasury Department deemed the breach a major incident after disclosing it via a letter notifying lawmakers of the incident. The U.S. agency said it has been working with the FBI and other agencies to investigate the impact of the hack. China denied any involvement.
China is asshole.
Calling the accusation baseless and saying it consistently opposes all form of hacking. Oh, yeah, right. Holy shit. Hello, Renee Mayette. It is the latest in a series of high-profile and embarrassing security breaches in the U.S. being blamed on China.
China is asshole.
The hack of telecom companies in December potentially accessed phone record data across large swaths of the American society. The Treasury Department said in its letter to lawmakers that this latest attack involved China-based actors overriding security via a key used by a third-party service provider. The application offers remote technical support to its employees. The compromised third-party service, called Beyond Trust, has since been taken offline, officials have said. There was no evidence to suggest the hacker had continued to access the Treasury Department information since the statement continued. The department said it has been working with the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, also known as CISA, the third-party forensic investigators to determine the overall impact, yada, yada, yada. So there's not a lot of new information here. Let's see. I'm going to check down here. The thing is, though, wait, this happened December 8th? When did they first notify lawmakers? I'm curious. I gotta tell you, I'm curious. Is there anything else in here? China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Mao Ning denied the U.S. claims, telling the news briefing these were baseless accusations lacking evidence. Yeah, they know. They don't. You can tell where it came from, dummies. Unless, of course, they have some super VPN that, could come from here and they used a VPN and who knows. China consistently opposes all form of hacking and firmly rejects the dissemination of false information targeting China for political purposes. Well, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, in my audience, in the chat, do you 100% believe our government when they provide this type of information to news services? Just yes or no. Do you 100% take the word of our government when they provide information like this? Could this be some more, could it be something else? So yes or no. Do you believe 100% our government when they provide information like this? Put it in the regular chat. Good morning, Jethro Hetero, who says no. Oh, and Johnny Boomer Tech is here and just not working very hard. Shrapnel 9, spelled the number. If anything, I'd expect the current government to downplay China's involvement. Yep. Sadie Bishop, no. Tyler Alexander, nope. Simon Obligation, nope. Not even 10%. Renee Miette, 100% don't trust Daddy Gubs. Robert Banks, no. Hello, Banks, by the way. Good morning. I'm in the hell no category. Just there's so much shenanigans. I would be at 50%. Most of you are like 5%, 10%. I'm at 50%, although it's getting worse. It depends on what the subject matter is. But our government just isn't the most trustworthy place in the world. So anyway, I put that article, the BBC article, is with the will be with the links to the other article that was similar. By the way, if you're new here, is anybody here new? Is there any new people here just not chatting because they're not comfortable chatting yet? If you're new here, first of all, subscribe to the channel. And second of all, at the end of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm, presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about. And even more, the ones I didn't even get to, I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. Good morning, Select a Boy. Yeah, so there you go. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show. All right, let's move on. We did Iowa. We did Mike Johnson. Okay, there's a couple lists that we're going to do. Let's start with the list that we have so far here because I want to make sure that we get these out of the way. So in the Q&A today, the question is, what do you think Joe Biden will surprise us with before he leaves office? Good morning, Richard Head. What up, Dick? How you doing? Nice to see you. What are some surprises that Joe Biden will surprise us with? Or what do you think Joe Biden will surprise us with before he leaves office in the form of pardons or acts or anything that he decides to sign or executive orders or any other bullshit that he does? So we got a list so far, and we'll add to that list as we go along. Tyler Alexander says World War III. Oh, shit. And that is that is surrounded by Avocados Diablo Spacers. I appreciate you. Amazing Disgrace, a nuke launch, Shrapnel, World War III. Yeah, it seems like they're pushing for it. Avocados Diablo, a pardon of John Wilkes Booth. Oh my God. That's terrible. Oh my God. Well, he did kill the first Republican president, and Joe Biden, kind of a party hack. Resolute Germ said he's going to try and nuke Russia. I swear it's concerning, and the man's barely there, so it's not going to be him. It's going to be his staffers who are running the office of the president for him. Stop Noble Nation says Joe will replace his entire administration with kids under the age of 10. Yeah, I said it didn't have to be serious, so they can be funny too. Avocados Diablo says Biden will announce he is returning the moon back to the control of its native people. Yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it? Because it sounds like something to do. He's going to return the state of Montana back to the Cumberland Sioux or something like that. Another one, Avocados Diablo put up here. He will issue an apology to the people of Atlantis for climate change. Avocados Diablo. He will do a press conference, stand there for a few minutes saying nothing, and walk off. Only then will people smell the wafting of the shit he was taking because he thought he was in the bathroom. Holy God. Holy moly, you are creative. And then finally, the last one right here so far. When you say the BBC, not the good kind, it makes me wonder about the ice shack hookers you are frequenting. Yes, that's not part of the Q&A. Gotcha. Because I do not frequent the ice shack hookers. Oh, no. Damn it. Oh, Kamala is 47. Yeah, well, he stepped down just to make her president for a day. And then some, they're going to try some shenanigans on January 6th when they do the certification of the Electoral College, right? The Democrats are going to all in on that bullshit. You know what I don't think they understand, though? Because when I read that article in The Hill a few days ago, and they were saying, yeah, they can still stop Donald Trump from becoming president, right? And they said, somewhere in that article, they said, well, yeah, they can stop Donald Trump becoming president and then install Kamala Harris. Oh, no, they can't. You see, because Kamala Harris was not elected. If they find some way to end Donald Trump's reign as president, well, first of all, until they install the vice president as president, because they'd have to swear him in as vice president because he won. No one on that other ticket won. So you would temporarily probably have the Speaker of the House be president until they swore in J.D. Vance to be the vice president. And then they would have to swear in J.D. Vance to be the president because the Democrats lost. So there's no way to swap out Donald Trump for Kamala Harris, you fucking idiots. So there we go. Enough of that. All right, moving on. Now we got some top 10 lists. It's the end of the year, so you got to do the top 10 list. So here is the. By the way, I have several articles open. I'm not going to get to hardly any of them. We're going to do these couple, and then if there's any more Q&A contributions, we'll do that. But in the Federalist, they put a list of the top 10 hoaxes the propaganda press peddled in 2024. So let's go through this list real quick. In no particular order, here are the biggest hoaxes and misinformation campaigns run by the corporate media and hacktivists this year. Which I wanted to sing to the tune of Holly Jolly Christmas by the corporate media hacktivists this year. Americans who have lived through Donald Trump's political career are no strangers to the legacy media information. From the Russian collusion hoax to the very fine people in Charlottesville lie, the litany of dishonest info ops from left-wing activists masquerading as journalists is too long to count. And despite Americans' waning trust in their ability to report news accurately and fairly, these Democrat Party yes-men show no signs of stopping. No, they do not, do they? Like years before, in 2024, saw no shortage of media hijinks, whether it was their coverage of the 2024 presidential campaign or participation in the Democrats' war on the Supreme Court. America's propaganda press maintained its ethically bankrupt reputation. So, in no particular order, here are the biggest hoaxes and misinformation campaigns run by legacy media hacktivists this year. All right, so first one, bloodbath. Everyone remember the bloodbath? Taking Trump's remarks out of context is one of the legacy media's favorite pastime, and March's bloodbath non-controversy was no exception. Speaking of rallygoers in Ohio, the former and soon-to-be president warned that the U.S. automobile industry would face an economic bloodbath if Democrats won the White House in 2024, but the media acolytes quickly jumped on the former president's comments, which they distorted to make appear as if Trump was threatening a literal bloodbath if he lost his re-election bid. Left-wing outlets such as NBC News, CBS News, The New York Times, and others ran headlines using the dishonest framing. Trump says, quote, Trump says country faces a bloodbath if Biden wins in November. A March 16th Politico headline read. And they should know better. Politico especially. The war on the Supreme Court. While Democratic mouthpiece ProPublica kickstarted a media war on the Supreme Court last year with smear attacks on Justice Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, the New York Times took its hysteria to a whole new level. In May, the outlet fabricated a controversy about an upside-down American flag flown at the Virginia residence of Alito and his wife, which the outlet claimed was a symbol adopted by some Stop the Steal protesters on January 6, 2021. Justice Alito told the paper that he had no involvement whatsoever in flying the flag, but that it was placed there by his wife to protest a neighbor's profane yard signs. Despite claims of ethics violations from so-called experts, the Federalist legal correspondent Margot Cleveland, who researched the judicial ethics rules, saw as a law clerk for the for years, noted that the Gray Lady's effort to smear Justice Alito was unethical based on the flag incident cannot withstand scrutiny, and the calls for Alito to recuse himself from January 6 related cases had no basis in sanity. So anyway, that was one of them. Real quick, here's another one from our list, though. Let me come back to our list here. Things Biden will surprise us with before he leaves office on January 20th. Select Boy says Joe Biden will surprise us with announcing that he's playing in the 2025 Winter Classic as a goalie. Hey, there you go. And a fine goalie he will make. I think he's been playing goalie for a long time and may have taken a few shots to the head with the puck. Anyway, Avocados Diabli adds, when Trump enters the White House, he will discover that all the T's have been removed from all the keyboards, only for us to learn Biden had been eating them because he misunderstood afternoon tea. There you go. Thank you, Avocados Diabli. Also, Avocados Diabli says, Joe Biden will finally remember what the thing is.
You know the thing.
Perfect. That is good. That's a good one. All right. Another, the top 10 hoaxes from miscues from the media. Hiding. This one should be number one. If they were in rank order. Hiding Biden's cognitive decline. If you're looking for an example of how the media interferes in our elections, look no further than their concentrated effort to hide Joe Biden's cognitive decline. When videos showcasing Biden's salinity went viral on social media over the summer, media hacktivists adopted the White House baseless claims that the clips were cheap fakes. Only after the president's disastrous live-field debate performance against Trump did the media realize they could no longer hide this massive scandal. We're not talking about Arnold Palmer here. This massive scandal from public. Of course, their subsequent acknowledgement of Biden's faltering health clearly had nothing to do with the Republic's well-being and everything to do with their concerns it could harm Democrats' prospects of holding the White House in November. Yeah, that was pretty good. Also, number 4, Project 2025. It didn't take long for the media to make Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 their go-to boogeyman during the 2024 campaign. Developed to provide a conservative roadmap for the incoming Trump administration, the plan became the subject of hyperbolic articles and Democratic speeches designed to brainwash voters into believing it would destroy the country as we know it if Trump were to get elected. In actuality, Trump has repeatedly said he was not affiliated with Project 2025, and the proposal recommends policies conservatives have supported for decades. Absolutely. The border czar hoax, claiming that I'm not going to read all these completely, but the border czar hoax, them claiming that Kamala Harris was never the border czar. After Democrats oligarchs orchestrated a silent coup to replace Biden with Kamala Harris on the 2024 ticket, the media jumped into action to cover up the vice president's myriad of failures, including her role as border czar. To hide Harris's incompetence from voters, left-wing journals pretended Biden never tapped her to oversee the invasion of the U.S.-Mexico border. Left-wing rags like Axios went as far as to claim Harris never actually had the border czar moniker, despite the outlet repeatedly referring to her as the motherfucking border czar. What do you think? All right. Trump's Arlington Cemetery visit. I'm not sure about this one. Others seeking to tarnish Trump ahead of the November election. Anti-Truth NPR ran an anonymous source hit piece attacking the former president for, wait for it, visiting Arlington National Cemetery at the request of Gold Star families. The smear campaign was aimed at fomenting controversy about Trump's team taking photos and videos of the former president's visit alongside loved ones of those killed during Biden's disastrous 2021 Afghanistan withdrawal. The media hoax didn't sit well with the Gold Star families, who blasted Kamala Harris, Democrats, and by extension their corporate press allies for attempting to politicize the event. Let's see. Another one. Let's see. Thank you on our chat list. Select Boy says things that Joe Biden will do to surprise us before he is before he leaves office. Select Boy adds, Joe Biden will surprise us with declaring that January 6th will be Tapioca Day. Yep. That's definitely. Avocados Diablo says, Biden will admit that he is the reason I have been waking up in all these strange situations.
I see dead people.
That AD, that kind of makes sense. Just saying. I'm just saying. All right. All right, moving back to the Federalists here. It's number 7, show me the garbage. Legacy media propagandists had their hands full in the closing days of the 2024 election after Biden referred to tens of millions of Americans who support Trump as garbage. Amid fears that the president's remarks could hurt Harris's electoral prospects, the Democracy Dies in Darkness crowd rushed to cover up the scandal, while Politico's Jonathan Lemire employed the media classic Republicans pounce, framing NPR's David Folkenflick, what the fuck kind of name is that? Decided to play doctor and mind reader for a day, telling his ex-followers he listened to Biden's comments several times and came away with the conclusion that the president's supposed stutter problem was to blame. That's funny. Then let's see. Oh, Trump's number 8, Trump Liz Cheney comments. One of the biggest media-driven hoaxes concocted this year was the manipulation of Trump's remarks about Liz Cheney. While speaking at an event days before the November 5th election, Trump critiqued Cheney's obsession with overseas military adventurism. The former president referred to Cheney as a radical war hawk and defended the troops forced to fight in never-ending conflicts neocons like Cheney would never personally partake in. Here was the quote. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. When the guns are trained on her face, you know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy, Trump said. In the wake, and so they all said that he was threatening a firing squad for her. In the wake of Biden's garbage smear, the media rushed to distort Trump's comments to make it appear as if he were calling for Cheney to be executed by a firing squad. Oh, that was the next sentence. Okay. The disinformation operation represented a clear attempt to smear Trump ahead of the election and boost Harris' prospects. Number 9, what assassination attempts? If you watched and read nothing but the legacy media, there's a good chance you know little to nothing about the 2 assassination attempts against Trump this year after a longtime Democrat donor allegedly tried to kill the incoming president on his Palm Beach golf course in September. Left-wing propagandists at NBC News and the Washington Post downplayed the attempted murder as nothing more than an incident. It was just an incident. It was an incident. It was just an incident. Outlets like Time magazine whitewashed the suspect's history of donating to Democrats, characterizing him in a tweet as a 58-year-old with an unclear political ideology. Yeah, that's all. Nothing to see here. Such dishonest propaganda isn't surprising, however. It's the same playbook these media hacks who spent years leading an assassination prep campaign with horrific smears and lies directed at Trump deployed when initially covering the first assassination attempt against Trump in July. And finally, the last, the number 10, Atlantic's Hitler hysteria. Little alliteration that I failed on. In a last-ditch attempt to salvage Kamala Harris's flailing presidential bid, The Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg, who ran the debunked 2020 Suckers and Losers smear, published an anonymously sourced October hit piece with claims that Trump said he wanted, quote, the kind of generals that Hitler had, end quote. It also contained accusations that Trump expressed anger about paying for the funeral services of a murdered army soldier. To the media, it did not matter the soldier's sister blasted Goldberg for his anti-Trump fabrications or that numerous former Trump administration officials debunked the bogus claims. What mattered was regurgitating the Atlantic's slanderous hatchet job, which they did with no questions asked. So there you go. There's the Federalist top 10. Also, there's in the American greatness, there's a list of MAGA wish list for President Donald Trump. I'm not going to read out. I'm just going to kind of go through the list. But back to our list, things that Joe Biden will surprise us with before he leaves office. Thank you, Selected Boy, who says, Joe Biden will give us the reasons why the Democrats are scratching themselves. Huh? Joe Biden will give us the reason why the Dems are scratching themselves. Like scratching their heads, like not knowing what they're doing. They're in disarray. They keep saying that Republicans are disarray because, we're arguing about H-1B visas. But they're really fucked up right now. I really hope that there are people like Scott Pressler and others out there for the midterms that really get people to come out to vote for the midterms like that they don't normally do. Because I don't want this, the agenda knocked around by a midterm election. Avocados Diablo adds, he will claim that he is owed more time as president because the 500 plus days he took off. Yeah, he took, what is it? I think 479 vacation days during his presidency. Unbelievable. Simon Nation adds, during Trump's inauguration, Joe will participate in a drag queen story hour dressed as Josephine Blown Apart, reading the classic Go the Fuck to Sleep. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, there you go. All right. You still have time to contribute. I'm going to go through just some of these, the MAGA wish list. I'm going to just read them off, and you can agree or disagree. We did it. The greatest comeback in political history. President Donald Trump is taking back the office he held 4 years ago. It's historic. It's nothing short of remarkable. The message it sends is that Make America Great Again, the MAGA movement, is here to stay. Long gone are the days of the old GOP establishment, thank goodness. Controlled opposition that had no problems managing the decline of the nation along with the Democrats. Now Americans are no longer the forgotten men and women. We are ascendant, and we must make sure that our party will continue this path for the foreseeable future. So here's just some of the list. You can read the explanations behind each. Maybe I'll do a line or two. 1, pardon all January 6ers. I would say pardon all the ones that did nonviolent crimes and commute the sentences of those who did violent crimes. Which the violent crimes are just fighting back with police. We're beating them with, batons and throwing flashbangs at them. Because a lot of it's funny because how calm it was before they threw out those flashbangs, and then there's that one line of police that had a bunch of people, they're pushed up against them, and after those flashbangs went off, all of a sudden some of those police started pulling out their batons and beating the people that were pushing in the line, and that's when all hell broke loose with them fighting with the police. Fire every potential holdover for the Biden administration and replace them with MAGA supporters. I 100% believe in that, especially in the Justice Department. Look, it's not unprecedented for a president of the United States to fire all the U.S. attorneys and replace them with people that they want in those positions. Bill Clinton did it. I'm pretty sure. I think George W. Bush did it. Obama did it. Yeah. Get rid of all of the Biden holdovers, all the others, and put your own people in there. Secure the border, deport as many illegal aliens as possible, and birthright citizenship. I agree, secure the border. I agree, deport as many illegal. Look, focus on the criminal aliens and ones who have obvious faulty asylum claims. And any foreign national who crossed our border who doesn't come from at least this hemisphere, get the fuck out. If you had to cross water to get to Mexico to cross our border, fuck you, goodbye. That's what I say. And birthright citizenship, I think for illegal entry into the country, yes, I think so. If you came here legally and whatever, you played by the rules, I'm not so, I guess I don't hate birthright citizenship. But if you came in the country illegally and just so you could have your baby here, fuck you and your kid. You both go back home. Sorry. That probably didn't sound good. Fuck them kids. I don't know. Defund NPR, PBS, and Planned Parenthood. There's no reason the government should fund any of those. There are plenty of networks that function do similar functions to NPR and PBS. Well, maybe not NPR, but still, it's not. Look, they are a political entity. The government should not be funding partisan political entities. They are very partisan political entities. So bye-bye. Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood makes money hand over fist. In fact, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on political campaigns. So why is the government funding some entity that has hundreds of millions of dollars to spend on political campaigns? Charge for your services. Shut the fuck up. I don't, I think abortion should be legal to a certain point. But there certainly should be restrictions. But the government should not be funding that at all. Unless maybe, no, not even on Medicaid. Fuck it. It's an elective process. Number 5, implement nationwide election integrity measures. Yeah, they need voter ID should be nationwide. There's all kinds of things that they could do. And frankly, you should have, I'm not even a fan of early voting. I guess early voting is not so bad if you are verifying every person who votes. That's all I've got to say. Let Israel defeat its enemies and refer to the West Bank as Judea and Samaria. Look, I agree that we let Israel be autonomous. I don't think we need to give them money. Israel has plenty of money, but I think how about they need to do what they need to do, and we say, okay, what you need to do, you need to do. We're not going to meddle in it. Unless there are actual, human rights issues. But look, the entity that started a war with Israel plays on the sympathies of the rest of the world through massive propaganda. They estimate numbers way higher. They trot out any casualties that are going to look bad. So if there's a child that dies, which is terrible, obviously, I can't imagine the pain of parents who lose their children, but they have a death culture that uses martyrdom to get sympathy from the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is, very squeamish. If you start a war and you get your ass kicked, that's your fault. That's what I think. 7, deport college campus rioters and terror supporters and defund any campus that tolerates it. If you're talking about, you can only deport people here on student visas. So if that's what you mean, sure, fine. And terror supporters, yeah, and defund campuses that allow it, why not? Here's how they say it. There's no reason we as a country must accept our elite institutions supporting our country's downfall, whether it's by allowing anti-Semitic rioters to make life on campus impossible for Jews or Marxist professors spewing anti-American bile. The endowments of these institutions should be taxed as much as possible, and any other incentives to force the schools to expel such students or fire such professors should be utilized. You know, it's funny. I always see like people on the left saying that, well, why are churches tax exempt? You should be tax exempt. You should be taxing the churches. Do you ever hear any of them calling for taxing the universities in the same manner? I've never heard that. And there's certainly political instruments, but far more than churches are, or far more than houses of worship are. So whatever. Here's one: restart Keystone and Anwar to reserve every Biden and reverse every Biden executive order on drilling and fracking. I think that's self-explanatory, particularly the Keystone Pipeline. I'm just saying. And also, we need to find somebody who wants to build refineries and where they can. That would be probably the bigger thing to reduce gas prices, because there have been no new refineries in years and some have shut down. So that's where a lot of your holdup is. But also, that postage stamp size Anwar that has billions of gallons of oil. I mean, the environmental impact would be minimal. Anyway. 9, make the Trump's tax cuts permanent. Oh, why not? 10, get wokeness out of the military. Self-explanatory. 11, repeal the Home Rule Act. The Home Rule Act passed in 1973 gave Washington, D.C. autonomy and created a city government to control local affairs. The city is extremely dangerous and crime-ridden, but the rate of prosecution is very low, and there's a good chance anyone arrested will be released to commit more crimes. The city council and mayor refused to address this, and according to the Constitution, control of D.C. should be with Congress regardless. The Seat of Government Act, which was introduced in the House in 2023, should be revisited. I don't have an opinion on that. It sounds solid, though, because D.C. is a fucked up mess. Number 12, constitutional amendments that cap the Supreme Court at 9 justices and enshrine the Senate filibuster. Maybe. I don't know if that should be that way. I think the Senate makes their own rules, and the idea that they thought of getting rid of the filibuster, I don't like that idea at all. So maybe I don't know if you're going to get constitutional amendments passed on either of those, though. I don't know if you want to even waste the political capital on that. Expand the Abraham Accords. Sure, they need to negotiate with the Middle East and try to get as many of those countries that are willing to be not necessarily strategic partners, but even just trading partners and congenial relations with Israel would go a long way in making peace in the Middle East. Lawfare must end with equal justice. The twisting of the justice system by the Democratic Party and its apparatchiks in the form of judges in recent years is unprecedented. Yeah, they need to do something about that. Definitely. I don't know what they can do because so many of these judges are lifetime appointments, but they got to figure how to forget using the courts as a political tool. The FACE Act must be repealed. The Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, or FACE Act, has been severely abused and weaponized by the left to the point of going after pro-lifers just because of their activism. The end game is clear to the quash dissent. Yeah, I think it's unconstitutional. That act should be unconstitutional. I'm sorry, it should be, but I mean, unless you want to apply that act to every type of protest that blocks any type of business or government function. If you want to make it blanket it to everything where you can be you can be sent to prison for protesting too close to a door, then you got to make that everywhere, which I would rather go the opposite way. No, get rid of that. And if there are actual threats to people, then you arrest them for actual threats to people. Ban gender affirming care for minors. I'm not going to say anything about that. Yes. Solidify the true meaning of Title IX. Yes. Based on sex, physiological sex, not perceived gender. Title IX is based on physiological sex of human beings. Stop putting men in women's sports and whatnot. Restart the 1776 Commission and defund any district that teaches CRT or trans theory. I want look, you can restart the 1776 Commission. Here's what I want to happen. Get rid of the Department of Education and leave local school boards, districts, whatever, leave them alone. I don't agree that you should, if you want to have your how you want to teach kids, whatever, it'll show up in the end product of kids coming out of those schools, and those local communities will have to deal with it. I say leave it alone, personally. I truly believe in local control of schools. I want to get rid of all the federal mandates. Okay? Fuck the federal mandates. Let the local districts and local states, whatever, do their thing and figure out how they're going to improve their schools. Let's have 50 labs and see which ones start working. And maybe the other states, when they see one state's working better than they are, they can implement things from that state. That's what they need to do. Get the federal government out of the local schools. 19, automatic death penalty for certain crimes. It's funny because someone made a point. I'm not going to get this video I was going to post today, talking about how they said the reason they're saying they're complaining about Ian Miles Chung, right? talking about Dubai and there's beautiful cities, and we never have cities like Dubai. And the guy said the reason we don't have cities about Dubai is because we don't make guns illegal. No. The reason Dubai is so clean and crime-free is because they have severe public punishment for crimes. Extremely severe. If you steal something in Dubai, you go to prison for years. And they don't fuck around. So when they say automatic death penalty for certain crimes, yeah, if you're going to have a death penalty and it's for crimes that there is absolutely zero question of whether or not that crime happened in the way, in the manner, whatever, like they have video evidence and everything. Yeah, let's have public executions. Okay, I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean? There you go. 20, investigate Soros' network of DAs. Oh my God. That needs to be done. Apparently, there's one of the articles in my list today is about how Soros controls a lot of these DAs. Push national reciprocity for Second Amendment reciprocity. That should have been done a long time ago, and that's the last one on their list. All right, let's finish up with the last few things that Biden will do before he leaves, and then I got to get out of here. So I will go ahead and get these links ready for today. All right, let's see. We got a few more here. Where did I stop here? Okay, Somnambule Nation. Here, that real quick. Sorry. Why didn't that work? There we go. All right, last few. What will Biden do to surprise us before he leaves office? Tyler Alexander says he will give America back to the British crown and start calling us the colonies again. Just like when he was a boy. Avocado Diaby says he will finally tell us the truth about the aliens, that they abducted Amelia Earhart because they had a DEI quota for female pilots but are from space with no sexes. Yes, that's a good one. Oh, that should be this. Selected Boy says Joe Biden will surprise us with announcing he's the president of the Delaware chapter of the Proud Boys. And finally, the last surprise Joe Biden will give us before he leaves office from Avocados Diablo says he will set up an advisor panel on determining who put the bop in the bop shubop shubop. So there you go. There you go. That's our... There are our things Biden will do to surprise us before he leaves office. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud to have had you here today with me on the Morning Night Live. Happy New Year for those of you who already passed midnight. And those of you who have midnight in the future, well, we'll see you next year. Here are the links from today's show, plus a lot of several other articles. I will drop those in the chat, but that's it for today. Thank you so much for another wonderful year of the Morning Night Live. We'll be celebrating our 7th year, I think a 7th year, coming up in January. We'll have a special show for that, but that's it for this year. I appreciate you. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Oh, there's one more. Oh, I already closed it. Or did I? Did I close it? There's one more. Hang on. I did not. Oh, nope. I ended the Q&A. Read the last surprise. It's gone. I'm sorry. Put it in the chat if you can. Put it in the chat. Anyway, that's it. Nope. We'll do it tomorrow. I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.